Yo, yo,
Yo, what is the word? What is the word? What is the word? It's your boy Kha.Reality. We back with and another one. Hey, yo, man, it's been going crazy, man. It's going crazy, man. It's going down to the wire, man. The jury start deliberating, man. Kayflock trial. If you haven't been keeping up, we've been following the trial the best way anybody could. And it's going down. It's going down. We're going to let Matthew Lee Russell speak for 30 seconds and we're going to go right into the content, y'all.
The drill rap case that we've gotten very much embroiled in. In fact, one of the witnesses came and said she read on Inner City Press and she had to come to court. That was the sister of Brockington. Yesterday were the closing arguments. So today, jury deliberation and possible decision. In the closing arguments by the prosecutor, they hammered away. They played a number of videos. In the defense summation, basically, I'll boil it down to one line. It's not Kevin Perez on trial. It's drill rap on trial. He's saying that basically, that they've put a whole form of expression on trial. So we'll have to see. We're covering that to the...
Yeah, man, Matthew Lee Russell, that's where everybody been getting the info from. But all he could do is just copy what he could copy, write down what he could write down, and he could just report it to the people. So, I've been following. I'm subscribed to Matthew Lee Russell, man. But look, the jury is let go for the day. The jury is let go for the day. See, that was the last update. It was right before 5 o'clock. You know what I mean? It got crazy. Yeah, it got crazy today, y'all. It got crazy. It got crazy. You know what I mean? There was so much updates, so much things going on, so much things going on. And, it was crazy because the first update, they was just talking about, the jury's there. Everybody's waiting around. They even asked for cookies. The jury was even asking for snacks because they was just waiting around. It was just like, yo, we need some cookies. We need something to go. We need something you feel me? So it got crazy, At 2:05, only law enforcement was in the room. People in the hall. So they excused everybody out the courtroom. The word is nothing. As in nothing coming out from the jury room. So the jury is deliberating. That means everybody is not on the same charge. Everybody's not on the same page, I mean. And if everybody's not on the same page, you're gonna have a mistrial. You're gonna have a hung jury. I've been telling y'all, I've been sitting here telling y'all what is going on. I've been telling y'all what's going on. Look, right there. 1 hour. Well, it wasn't 1 hour ago, but it was as of 3 p.m. All the way from the morning time to 3 p.m. They deliberating. The jury's still deliberating in U.S. versus Kevin Perez, kayflock, since Inner City Press last update. A cart of soda, chips, and cookies was rolled into the jury room. Yet again, this thread will continue for more developments. And then update 4 came in. The jury has sent out a note. Question. The judge. Jury is asking for a definition of reasonable person. I see everybody on Twitter. They saying they're asking, what does this mean? What does this mean? Nobody knows what this means. So look, we gonna break it down. I already know what it means, but I'm gonna break it down in layman's terms for y'all. I want y'all to see what it means. Yeah, when they ask for reasonable person, it is a hypothetical question, basically. A hypothetical individual, not somebody's really there, but they're just asking you what is the reasonable person. So it is a person who acts with ordinary prudence and care, serving as a benchmark to assess the actions of the defendant. So, as a reasonable person, what Shani Bonnie testified to might help him win this. Because remember what I told y'all, the body has to be in furtherance of the RICO. We know they got the highest conviction rate. We know this. But it has to be in furtherance of the RICO. I try to tell y'all, this is not a regular body. This is not, oh, did he do it? His lawyer admitted to him doing this, but it was not in the furtherance of the gang. Their defense is that it was just a split of the second moment thing. And the feds cannot charge you as a split in the second murder. Their bodies come from things like when you hire somebody, when you stalk somebody online, when you're trying to get a witness retaliation, when it's in furtherance of a RICO, when it's in furtherance of a robbery, when it's in furtherance of an organization. Yes. So the hypothetical standard is The reasonable person is not a real person, but a legal construct to use determine whether someone's actions were negligent or met of a certain standard of care. A duty of care. Or members of the community, as a human, as a citizen, have a duty to act as a reasonable person when undertaking or avoiding actions that can harm others. So being that he was being followed and Shani Bonnie was pregnant and she said she was scared to come forward, you know what I mean? All of this stuff plays a part into what the jury is thinking about. All of this plays a part into what the jury is thinking about. I need y'all to understand this. Duty of care. All members of the community have a duty to act as a reasonable person when undertaking or avoiding actions that can harm others. The breach of duty. If a defendant's actions fall below the standard of care expected of a reasonable person, it could be considered a breach of duty, potentially leading to a liability. So I'm gonna say it again. If a defendant's actions fall below standard, so if the standard is okay, just to do something as a community member, you know, it could be considered a breach if it's like, oh, he did it with excessiveness or something like that. But the jury's role is often to determine whether a person met the reasonable standard in a given case. So the reasonable standard in this given case is that he was being followed. That is what kayflock's lawyer is pushing. I told y'all this was gonna happen. See, the RICO is really hard. They probably got a decision on the RICO already. The decision is really like the RICO. They probably got a decision on that already. But remember this. Remember this brother. Remember what the brother said. What happened? He said, "My brother walked out and said, 'Who are you?'" And then the AUSA said, "Did he threaten anyone?" He said, "No, but he got boomed." How do you know he threatened anyone if you weren't outside the barbershop with him? How do you know that? This is what the jury is asking, people. And this is why Kha.Reality breaks it down the best. Yeah, see the RICO, you got his op come forward, you got his man come forward. That got nothing to do with the body. They probably got a decision on the RICO already. The RICO is the top charge within this case. The case is racketeering, and everything else is an overt act inside of the racketeering, people. Everything else is an overt act inside of the racketeering. So when they asked for that reasonable person, that was crazy. Like, what, for the jury to be saying, talk about this right now? They supposed to have their decision. You know what I mean? This is looking like reasonable doubt, but the RICO is looking. I don't even know, man. I don't even know. We're gonna continue tomorrow, but look, update 5. Waiting in the courtroom. Defense says the email is proposed language. They ready. They emailed this. They emailed this right away to the court 10 minutes ago. They said, Your Honor, we did that 10 minutes ago. They were still waiting for the prosecutors. And the update came at 4:32. The prosecutors came back into the courtroom. Defense, do you want to try to confer? It seems like a lot of distance. Yo, the lawyer talking crazy. It's already, and the AUSA said it's already defined in the jury charge. It's already defined. They're saying their reasonable person is already defined. They're saying he didn't act as a reasonable person because what he did. Yeah, they're saying he did not act as a reasonable person because of him throwing up signs or him allegedly being in a neighborhood knowing it was a gang neighborhood and that he was looking for ops spinning. And remember, they used the metadata. Remember, we did a show and I told y'all they was using metadata. They used this testimony. They used that testimony. But this is what the lawyer is pushing. He's like, yo, bro, this is, we hear about everything. We hear about this, we hear about that. But this is not about I'm sorry, y'all, but I'm so caught up. This is about kayflock, Kevin Perez. He is Kevin Perez. His rap name is kayflock. So he is not kayflock when he's walking as a person. The rapping is just a career. So this is what they're trying to say, y'all. The reasonable person thing. Oh my God, y'all don't understand how big this is. You know, look at the example. A reasonable person will not drive under the influence of alcohol. Yeah, a reasonable person would repair a faulty handrail that can cause someone to fall. So would a reasonable person walk through the neighborhood with a G on him? I don't know about that. See, that's what they're gonna say. So would a reasonable person, that's the thing. So if the body comes, he's charged with M in the aid of racketeering, right? And then the next one after that is use of a weapon resulting in the unalivement of a racketeer of an aid of racketeering. So if they can't prove that it's in aid of racketeering, he beats those charges. And he looks at the RICO. But even in the RICO, you know what I mean? Even when it comes to the RICO, those are really messed up, because at the end of the day, those charges carry a long time too, bro. Those charges carry a long time too. So I just want y'all to know the jury is let go for the day. We're gonna have a verdict tomorrow, or it could be after that. No one knows when the verdict is gonna be. But Shani Bonnie coming forward, this was crazy. They took the gloves off, but remember, this guy's talking about the RICO. Yeah, you got this guy talking about the RICO. So now y'all understand, thanks to me, y'all understand that this is not just a M trial. This is not just, oh, he's on trial for M. No, he's on trial for RICO, and everything else is in aid of the racketeering. You know, it's Kha.realityTV, man. Shout outs to 050 the movement. Nobody giving this content like how we giving this content. Nobody could break it down, because we break it down through life experiences, no matter what way you took. You know what I mean? But this is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. You know what I mean? This is what it's about, y'all. This is content at its finest. Salute. Make sure you hit the like button, the share button, the subscribe button, because I'm gonna keep giving y'all this good content. I'm gonna keep giving it to y'all. Y'all have to understand what racketeering is. Y'all need to understand what a reasonable person means. So it still could go both ways, but the objective standard, the negligence cases, the duty of care, the breach of duty, the example, the jury's role, and not a perfect standard. The reasonable person standard does not mean someone must be perfect, but rather that they act with a reasonable amount of care and caution. They have to consider this. They need more time, y'all. I don't need to waste your time and show the video of the barbershop. Y'all seen that already. I don't need to waste your time and show people posting and little clips and putting out clips in this and clips in that with edits. And I don't need to do that. My job is to break down the law to you guys. You guys want to know what's really going on. So share this video. Yeah, share this video. Salute, y'all.
To Frankie, and what influence did that have on your father?
A transit authority cop stops him. He pulls out the gun and kills the cop.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Did Gravano tell you how he became a rat?
You would never call him that to his face.